Hello Magic Makers, welcome to Storytime with Mombierella. This is a young adult fiction and may be inappropriate for some younger viewers. Evil Thing. A Tale of That DeVille Woman by Serena Valentino. Copyright Disney Enterprises Incorporated, 2020. Chapter 15. Goodbye, Belgravia. That was to be my last evening with my mamma, though I didn't know it at the time. The table was set beautifully, and my mother's cook had outdone herself, preparing all my favorite dishes in an effort to tempt me. I sat across from my mother, picking at my plate. She looked at me nervously, as she'd been doing since she'd seen my transformation. "Cruella, I've arranged for all your favorites. Won't you eat something?" she asked. "Thank Mrs. Badley for me, please," I said, "and give her my apologies for not having an appetite." My mother looked at me as if I was losing my mind. "Mrs. Badley has left our household, Cruella. I told you, remember?" The fact was, I had forgotten. "How am I to be expected to remember these insignificant, mundane household changes, Mother?" I asked dismissively, but the truth was, I wondered how I'd managed to forget. "You're right, my dear," she said, still looking at me with concern. I assumed she was still getting used to my hair. Then, "Cruella, why are you wearing the fur coat I gave you for your birthday at the dinner table?" "You didn't give me this coat, Mamma. Jack did. It was a gift for my birthday," I said, smiling at her. She looked so confused. "My darling, I got you that coat for your birthday." She looked at me with narrowed eyes. It now occurs to me that I must have been suffering from some sort of memory loss due to the shock of losing Jack. It's no wonder my poor Mamma was so concerned. But then I remembered. "So you did, Mamma. I remember now. You gave me the coat, Jack gave me the ring, and Papa gave me my earrings." "Yes, my dear," she said, looking no less worried. "I don't know what I would do without you, Mamma. I can't imagine being on my own right now. I'm so lucky to have such a sweet Mamma, so willing to take care of me. And I was so happy to be in my childhood home, to be surrounded by things that made me feel comfortable." "You really must eat, Cruella. You've become so thin," she said, clearly still worried. "I don't wish to eat, Mamma. Please don't worry." "I think I may be suffering from a lapse of memory," I said, trying to make her feel better. "The doctor said that may happen. Perhaps I better have Mrs. Webb call the doctor and tell him." "Don't fret, Mamma," I said. "I assure you I'm quite well." "Did Violet not lay out the new dress I bought you, Cruella? That dress you're wearing is hanging off of you." "Violet? Oh, yes, the maid. Yes, she did, Mamma. But I wanted to wear this one," I said, giving her a sly look. "Well, it's morbid, wearing the same dress that—" But she stopped herself. She was clearly getting rather vexed with me, but tempering her anger because she was worried about my health. "I'm sorry, Mamma." I pushed my plate away, deciding I was tired of pretending I was going to eat dinner. "I really don't wish to eat dinner, Mamma." "I know you're distraught, dear. Let's move into the drawing room. I have something important I want to discuss with you." I rolled my eyes. "Why can't we just sit in here?" "And what is it we need to discuss?" I asked. "Well, for starters, we really must do something about your staff. I can't keep them on here in addition to my own. Won't you change your mind about keeping them on yourself? You will, of course, be needing a staff you can trust once you're in your new home." "My new home?" I asked, blinking. I had no idea what she was talking about. "What new home?" I intended on saying right where I was, in the place I felt safest, in the home my father left me. "Of course, my dear, you'll be wanting to start your new life in a new home of your own. Or maybe you will want to travel. Whatever you decide, my dear." "Well, Mamma, I was thinking of asking if I could stay here. We can make some sort of arrangement for Jackson and Miss Prickett." My mother looked very uncomfortable. "Well, the fact is, Cruella, I'm closing up the house." "What do you mean, closing up the house?" I didn't understand. I just gave her the house, and now she was closing it? "I mean exactly that." She poured us both some tea, deciding she couldn't wait to have Mrs. Webb show us into the drawing room. "But I thought I would stay here, at least for a while longer," I said. "If you want to travel, I can stay here and take care of the house. I promise I won't be mean to Mrs. Webb." "That won't be possible, Cruella. I've arranged for everything to be crated and sold at auction. I have 2 weeks before I have to vacate for the new owners." after which I don't plan to return to London for quite some time. I'm letting all the staff go except for Mrs. Webb. She's coming along with me as my companion.
2 weeks? So you're not closing up the house, Mamma. You've sold it, right out from under me.
It's my house, Cruella. I can do with it as I please. I was livid. I had just lost my own home and my husband. All I wanted was to stay someplace where I felt safe. I couldn't believe she'd sold the house so quickly, and without telling me about it. Sir Huntley had warned me this might happen.
The moment I signed everything over to you, you've sold it. I can't believe I was so foolish.
I stood up, unable to sit still. I was so angry with her. But there was nothing to be done about it. Not now. There was no sense in fighting about it with my mamma at that point. Anyway, she changed the subject and saved me from having to pursue the conversation. Speaking of Sir Huntley, I've taken the liberty of inviting him over after dinner this evening. I did extend an invitation to dinner as well, but he declined, saying he would come after the dinner hour. He's eager to speak with you about Jack's will. It seemed my mother was full of surprises that evening. I'm not ready to discuss Jack's will, Mamma. I really wish you had asked me if I was up to seeing my solicitor, I said, slamming down the glass. Sir Huntley is more than our solicitor, Cruella. He's been with our family for a long time. He's almost one of the family. I suddenly burst out laughing. I was in disbelief. Who was this woman? Surely not my mamma.
Sir Huntley, a member of the family. Come now. You despise the man, I said. What exactly are you playing at, Mamma? I may have suffered a lapse of memory, but I do remember your utter contempt for Sir Huntley.
Very well, Cruella. I hardly know what to say to you when you're in this state. You're acting so strangely. I'm just trying to make things easier between us. But before she could say anything more, Jackson came into the room.
Are the ladies ready to go into the drawing room? Sir Huntley will be arriving shortly,
he said, giving me a sad look. Part of me wanted to stand up and hug the man. I felt like a lost little girl, sitting in my mother's dining room, and I felt so alone. Papa and Anita were gone, and now Jack. And Mamma was abandoning me. Who else did I have left but Jackson and Miss Prickett? But I couldn't forgive him for not saving Jack. And I couldn't stand the pity.
Are the ladies ready to go into the drawing room? I sneered. Seeing as we're all the ladies here, with the exception of you, Jackson, I would say that the ladies are indeed ready to go to the sitting room.
Cruella, what is wrong with you? My mother looked horrified.
Why do you suppose it's just we ladies dining this evening? Why do you suppose my husband isn't here with us?
I knew I was breaking Jackson's heart, but I didn't care. Cruella, stop this at once. Jackson, I'm so sorry. My mother was mortified, and part of me was appalled at my own behavior. But I couldn't stop myself. I was heartbroken, but also annoyed. My earring was bothering me again, and the more it irritated me, the more I wanted to scream. So I took it out on poor Jackson. It was as if an overwhelming rage was exploding within me, and I was directing it all at the poor man, a man who had treated me like his own daughter when I was growing up. But I couldn't stop myself. I couldn't forgive him. I couldn't stop hating him, even if now was the time I needed him most.
I told you to keep him out of sight, Mamma,
I said, throwing the glass across the room, and poor Jackson left without a word, and the room was suddenly silent, just for a moment. All I was left with was my rage.
How dare you parade him in here like that? I told you I didn't wish to see him.
How dare I? How dare you speak to Jackson that way? Control yourself, Cruella. What has come over you? You've hurt Jackson's feelings. He's always doted on you since you were a little girl. And I'm sure he feels terrible about what happened to your Jack. It's not Jackson's fault he survived the fire, and Jack did not, she said. And she was right. But I couldn't make myself see it at that moment. My hate was too strong. Everything was crumbling around me. I was falling down a deep hole with nothing to cling to.
Hurt Jackson's feelings, indeed. Since when have you ever given one jot about our staff's feelings, Mother?
I snapped, fidgeting with my earring, twisting it and trying to make it stop pinching.
Cruella, please calm down, and do stop fiddling with your damned earring.
Sir Huntley will be here soon, if he's not already in the drawing room.
So please lower your voice and compose yourself. That's rich, Mother. You're telling me to compose myself for Sir Huntley. I laughed so hard I almost choked. I'm sure you have much to do to prepare for your move. I can talk to Sir Huntley on my own. I walked out of the dining room, feeling a bit unsteady on my feet. Everything was changing. My Jack was gone, and soon my childhood home would be gone. Where would I go? Well, at least I had money enough to do whatever I liked. Live wherever I wanted. I could hardly imagine living in one of Jack's houses without him. What I really wanted was to stay in my old home. But that wasn't an option. I thought of buying it from the new owners. I would ask my mother who they were and offer them an absurd amount of money to take it off their hands. No matter the cost, it would be worth it. I wanted to return to my original life plan. I wanted to live alone in my father's house. And maybe I would keep on Jackson and Miss Prickett. They were, after all, the only people I had left. I could learn to forgive them in time. And maybe, just maybe, I would see if Anita would be up for an adventure. Surely life with me would be far better than settling for a life with that foolish musician. Then I remembered. Sir Huntley was waiting for me.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please come back next time for more. If you haven't had a chance to yet, please take a second, hit that thumbs up, comment down below, say hello, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell as well. And share with a friend who'd like to hear these stories. And if you'd like to help me continue to do these readings, make sure to check out my social media links and Patreon page down below. Thank you very much. Love you guys. Remember, let it go and keep moving forward. Have a magical day. See you next time. Bye.